Hello, I'm Elvie from Meadowlark Log Homes. We are at a building site that we built a year ago. This Meadowlark Log Home, a Swiss Chalet model, was built by our company 1 year ago, and they asked us to come back to put the exterior stain on this house. This is a poplar model for us, and we're going to be putting on Timber Pro plant-based stain. This is my favorite, or one of my favorite stains. I'm reviewing different kinds of stain at the moment. This is my favorite currently. It is plant-based. We put 2 coats of color on and 1 top coat of clear. And here the boys are starting to put the plastic on the windows, the masking down below, because we think that we might have some drips coming through this wood deck floor. When we stain the floor, it might come through these cracks in the wood and come down. So we're going to have to mask all this concrete with plastic and those windows. Besides, I'll ask the customer if they want us to stain the frame of the basement windows, and we got to get stain on these posts. So masking is starting, but the first process was to unload the trailer with all of our toys, ladders, pumps, pressure washers. Here's our trailer, and there's our truck down there. So here's the plant-based stain, the Timber Pro, that we brought along. And so the first process is to get their water tank that the customer supplied pumped into our water tank. So our drum is sitting here. It's a 100-gallon, this black drum, and that'll be enough to initially put the soap on. And the Clean and Bright is a biodegradable soap, wood cleaner, we mix into this drum of water. So we pump the water from here into that, mix the soap in there at a ratio of, it's a diluted ratio. And then once that's mixed, we pump from there with my little pump into the pressure washer, which JJ is setting up here. And then we'll apply the soap to the exterior of this house. We have a nozzle that allows us to shoot the soapy water, the soap, from the ground all the way to the top of the house. So while the boys set up the soap system, I'm going to give you a video of the outside of this house. Maybe I'll go inside as well. In the back, we got this tall loft with real log shed dormers that give you a very roomy loft. So Meadowlark Log Homes built this package, the log package, in Libby, Montana at our facility, pre-assembled it, shipped it, and put it back together. I should mention that we are in Utah. I forgot to say that. I'll have that in the title. So we are in the beautiful state of Utah, up in this mountainous, hilly residential area. This was a tough site to build in, not a lot of room, but we managed and got this up. So first, Meadowlark built this Swiss Chalet model. It's a very popular model with our company. And because the design is not huge, but it's not small, it is normally about a 26 by 34 footprint. This is a little bit larger, I think a few feet wider. It might be a 30 by 34, I'm not sure. Somewhere in that ballpark, around 1,500 square feet. So with a Meadowlark Log Home, you get log walls. They're hand peel logs, walls all the way to the peak, real log dormers, log gable ends, log post systems, large overhangs. You can go longer than this, but they chose, it looks like about a 5-foot overhang there. We do the log railings, log posts, porches, and wood deck floors. A lot of times it's wood. Let me go inside now and give you a view of the inside of this house. We set up these log posts for your porch. And so what Meadowlark did is we started with the subfloor framing and the porch framing, and set the logs, what we call reassembly, with a crane. The roof system all the way through the felt, the spray foam insulation in the roof system. We installed the windows and doors. And I'm going inside now. The boys are getting this masked. Good job. We don't want that stain to spray on those windows. In the basement, I believe what we did is we just did one main frame wall. That's the first thing we would have done, is build that frame wall so that we can get these joists on there and the subfloor on there. We did not build this stairway in the basement. And we would have probably framed this front wall too. And then the porch deck and all this loft, this subfloor framing for the main floor above me. Later, the owners had these built, all these frame walls that partitioned the basement into rooms. We did not do that. Just this log post and this main log wall in order that we can get the subfloor built. Okay, again, we didn't build a stairway. That's on the customer to do that in the basement, usually. So here we got the main room here, looking out. We built the log joists and the loft floor system right here. That's on top of the log joists. And this is a cavity to put your wiring and your plumbing in. And then the customer is in process of putting a ceiling on this loft, as you can see. This pine ceiling. We go away and this is ready for you to wire and plumb and then put your ceiling in. The customer did their own trim. We don't trim the interior of the windows and doors, just the exterior. That way, after we're gone, the customer can choose a local trim shop or do it themselves and get their trim stained and put on whatever trim they want on the inside of the doors and windows. We would just install them, get them all done except for the interior trim. These are my favorite windows, the Sierra Pacific H3, which means there are 3 elements to this window. There's a aluminum clad on the outside, a plastic vinyl core on the inside for a sandwich of weatherproofing, a weather barrier, and then a real wood frame on the inside. They're a heavy window, and I love them. Stay away from the Sierra Pacific vinyl and just go with the H3 wood frame window, which is, as I mentioned, my favorite. Because the price point is good. They're not super expensive, and they're a good window. Okay, let's have a tour. That's a Sierra Pacific door. They make a nice door, matching wood with the vinyl core and the aluminum on the outside. So here is, let's see, this would be the kitchen. And you can see how the plumbing goes into the frame wall here. The PEX pipe and the drains and the wiring goes inside the cavity here. And then above all the frame walls, there's 4 inches of settling at least to allow the log walls to settle down, but the frame walls do not settle. There has to be a settling gap above all doors and windows and frame walls so that you don't have a settling problem. You can see the gap above that frame wall. That's part of the design. All of the joints have to have slip joints. I don't see it in this one. They have to have slip joints in the plumbing so that this can slide as it settles. I need to point out to the customer, they're going to have problems. I see it already right here. They've got to cut this here and put a rubber slip joint that this can slide together. I see a problem right here as this house is settling already in this joint. So it's all on the plans and people forget about that, but they have to have a settling in the plumbing as well as on top of all the log walls. So I'll point that out to the customer, just do that correction while they still can. Let's see if I see any issues here. I see kind of an issue right there. They got this wall right up against that log. You're going to have a settling problem right there. And I see a little issue here. They've got this wood right against that wood. Maybe that might be built to settle there. It looks a little sketchy there. I believe they forgot to put a settling trim on top of that. This should be a gap, a 4-inch gap, and then a piece of trim on the outside. It should not be tight against it. They will have problems right there. So all those things are spelled out on the plan, and people forget to abide by that. Anyhow, so I'll have to point that out to them. Here's a bathroom, and here's a shower area. It's a good framing job. There's the settling area designed built in right up there. Very nice house. I like this. A common feature is a log archway in the log wall that holds these log joists in the ceiling for the loft floor. They've been sanding on this. So the inside you have to take a sander, a buffer. We have different instruments you can use for that to clean these off and make them ready for the varnish. Inside we recommend a plant-based or other safe varnish, a clear poly, a nice wood finish on the inside. Generally stay with clear. We recommend not tinting or coloring the inside. It makes it too dark. Some people do that, but not very often. Really recommend sticking with our crystal urethane, which is totally clear and keeps things bright and clear and preserves and makes it smooth on the inside. So here's the standard Meadowlark log stairway. It's a flat timber tread stairway that we pre-assemble, lift into about 2 or 3 pieces. This piece gets lifted in with a crane, the whole upstairs. This section and this section just gets all popped in with a crane. It's all pre-assembled. The railings are all pre-assembled. And then a feature with the Meadowlark Log Home, like I mentioned, is log walls all the way to the peak. A nice log truss system in the front that carries the glass. All those posts we install pre-assembled so the glass fits in there. Log purlins in the top. Those beams are carrying the roof system. There's a log truss, kind of semi-open there. Let's go have a look upstairs. So our crew installed this landing that I land on to make the corner. And I'm going upstairs. And this has a partial open beam vaulted cathedral ceiling all the way from the floor to the peak. It's tall. It looks to me like about a 9'6" or 10-foot ceiling below. It's a tall ceiling down below. And we got this cavity with the joists here, I-joist sitting on our log joist. And that creates a nice flat floor and a cavity that provides some soundproofing area. You can put insulation in that cavity, wiring and plumbing in that cavity. And that's why we put this extra layer, like I'm standing on, above our log joists to give you those features. Soundproofing or sound minimizing between floors and a cavity for plumbing and wiring. That's a beautiful feature, this front log post work to get the glass in for your view. Looking down at the wood floor that we installed. On this house, we used a pressure-treated wood floor. And I see that it has dried a lot with quite large gaps. I mentioned it to the customer and they were happy, but the fact that it was freshly treated, I believe it shrank more than I like to see, the gaps. I like to see smaller gaps, so that's something to look out for. So here is the open beam ceiling, and a feature of every Meadowlark Log Home, pretty much every one, is you have open beam to the ceiling. You have a vaulted ceiling in every room on a single level, or in the upstairs in the case of a 2-story. I'm standing in what we call the open loft. This can be used as an office space or a grandchildren play area, or you can put bunk beds in here, or hide-a-beds, couch hide-a-beds for extra sleeping area for guests. This can be a living area, a movie room, a family room up here, which is nice. You can look down, and a lot of times there's a wood stove or fireplace in the corner. You can see the fire from up here. This is a beautiful open room here. And then in this room, it looks like they're going to keep this open. And that's a choice you can make. A lot of people will actually have a log wall or even frame in between here so that you have a bedroom with a door here, a wall and a door for the bedroom. In this case, it looks like this might be open. We see both choices used. So in this case, it's open. Looks like it's going to be a completely open area. There's a railing set in between these posts. And here is the shed dormer. This is the most practical kind of dormer upstairs that you can build as far as the design. This is very tall here, almost 8 feet. So the shed dormer, which is this flat roof here, or the sloped roof, is roomy, and a lot more roomy than a gable dormer, which got the A-shaped peak roof. But the gable dormer's got some class and some design that looks really good. These are more bland and basic, but they're very roomy. And you get the full cathedral look in your bedroom right up here. Beautiful, beautiful, and roomy and tall. And so again, these are the H3 windows from Sierra Pacific, and they look really nice. Now they're applying the soap to the outside right now. JJ's spraying it. I'll go out and get a little of that action in a minute. And here they built the frame wall for the bathroom upstairs. Good job on it. Up there, I can see they put the gap right there with the screws. You see the black screws that poke up through here to hold the wall, yet allow the logs to settle, but the frame wall not to settle. If you can imagine, this log wall is going to be coming down, and this frame wall is not going to move. So that gap is going to tighten with time. Above all the doors and windows, we have about a 3 to 4 inch gap, about 3, and that's filled with compressed foam strip that as the log walls come down, the strip compresses together over time, and of course the window does not settle. There's a slot with an angle iron in a slot of the logs that holds the frame of the window. Then on the outside, I'll show you, we trim the outside of the windows with Douglas fir or larch trim. Nice roomy bathroom. This house, everything is roomy, even though it's not a huge house, very roomy. Like, this is a spacious bathroom for the master bedroom upstairs. So there'd be like a shower tub combo over there generally. Toilet hole is right there, and you can see the plumbing in the frame wall. And again, they've got to get this cut in half and install at least a 4-inch settling situation here. On every vertical stiff pipe, you've got to put that in the frame wall, because the roof is coming down and something's going to be giving. So I need to point that out to my customers. Now, I met them last night for the first time, and they claim they saw my videos and they decided to go with a Meadowlark Log Home because of it, and so it makes me happy. They've got some flat ceiling lights. We used to call them can lights, but they're no longer cans. They're just shallow, flat lights. Yeah, good job on the plumbing and the wiring, the framing, except for the slip joint I see there. I like their choice of big windows. The big windows let a lot of light in. And they're doing a good job with their sanding. I want to point that out. Nice and smooth. We've got different bristle brushes and sanders that we recommend that we can sell to you, or we can tell you where to get them. And the certain tools, I should do some review, but certain sanders work better than others to go ahead and get everything cleaned up on the inside. A light sanding, you don't have to go like a hard sanding, so that you can still see the character of the hand peeling and the different variations of the wood and the knots, but it feels smooth. It's a really good job. Then you want to take high pressure air or blowers and open a door and blow this thing out. Blow it all out, absolutely clean. Blow it when they're done sanding. To me, it looks like they're done sanding. And just clean it out real good, and then and you mask everything and spray that varnish on the inside. It looks like they're doing a good job. They know what they're doing. So we're not touching the inside varnish, we're just applying the outside stain. Okay, let's move on downstairs and go outside and get a view of this outside deck and trim and all that on the outside. See if this is locked. It's open. I might have spoken wrong. I don't believe this is a Sierra Pacific door, but I'm not sure. I can't tell if that might be wood. It looks like a Sierra Pacific. If you choose the matching door to the windows, the Sierra Pacific is going to have a wood cover on the inside, wood layer. It's going to have some plastic core on the inside, and then the outside is going to be all metal that matches. So that might be that. I can't tell for sure. It looks like a Sierra Pacific door, but it may not be. So the customer provided some concrete floor here, and then we did this floor with a pressure treat flooring. Now we also built the tongue and groove ceiling here, and the porch roof with all the fascia around the outside, double fascia of the Douglas fir for the roof trim. And then they want me to install a railing section here that was a bit of a change order. They were going to have a step coming off here. It's too far down for a step. We're going to close this off with the railing section. So let's have a look at the window trim the way we do it. This is a finished exterior of that Sierra Pacific aluminum clad window. And here is our Douglas fir trim with a slip trim up here to allow this to settle down over this. You'll see the tops of doors and windows all have 2 pieces of trim. There's a reason for that, and that's for the settling. This looks to me to be a 12-foot deck. It might be 10 foot. Let me see here. Let's see if I can get this right. There's Dennis got the loader fired up. I'm going to be standing in that cage to reach the areas up in this area to put the stain on here and in the back where it's tall. That's where I'll be standing in. That's going to work good. That's Dennis, my brother-in-law. He'll make it work. He'll be a good driver. He won't drop me. Promise? He's not going to drop me. So we're going to have to put masking on this whole floor here so we don't get stain on the floor. And so there's the outside. Oh, they started masking already, but they have to wait because we got to get this washed off first. Again, the first step we're doing now, I'll repeat myself. I repeat myself a lot, but we're only applying the soap to the walls right now, to the entire exterior, and then we like to let that set for a few minutes or an hour or so, and it percolates and it kind of does some action on the logs to clean them, and then we'll just use clean water, clear water, and wash it off. Now they got this wet. This is already soaped. He got this soap all the way to the peak. He can reach everything with that soap. My pressure washer. Got soap all the way to the top. Even we're dripping water off that area from the ground. Now that's JJ. He's good at this. He's done this quite a bit with me. Everything gets soaped up nicely. I'll show you my pump. And that sucks the water out of here. This is a soapy water pumped to the pressure washer, and he's applying it. Okay, well, that's it for this video. I'm going to have more video of us masking and applying the stain, brushing, and then a finished product, the whole process. And I'll post those videos one at a time. And we appreciate you guys watching this far. If you've stuck with me, God bless you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.